Do you want a get out of pain free card? Here it is. Now, while this is not an actual card, this is a magic pain eraser ball. So you may be thinking, come on, how could a lacrosse ball possibly help me with my golf game and my pain? But we have found it to be an absolute game changer with all of our golfers when it comes to those dealing with pain. And it works like magic. So today we're going to share with you the top 2 tricks to help you get out of pain. Let's go. What's up, golfers? My name is Josh. I am the Director of Coaching at P4S Golf, where we have helped over 12,000 golfers get out of pain, improve their longevity in the game, and increase their speed and hit the ball further. So today, as we said, top 2 drills to help you get out of pain with the lacrosse ball, our magic little pain eraser. So top 2 areas where most of our golfers do not pass mobility tests. Number 1 is the hips. You should be able to internally rotate your hip. I'm doing it standing, but the test we do it sitting. You should be able to rotate that easily. So if your hip is kind of stuck, that's a problem. Same thing for your shoulder. It doesn't rotate easily like that, and you're trying to arch your back, or your shoulder only does this, that's a problem. So for right-handed golfer, we've got the lead hip, trail shoulder are the big 2 that we need to rotate well to come through the ball with good speed and power. When we can't rotate here, we end up overusing the back. So back pain is often a result of a lack of rotation in your hip, and a lot of elbow and wrist pain or shoulder pain is a result of poor mobility in the shoulder. Okay, and you may also, if you don't have your shoulder, you might overuse your trunk as well, which can affect the lower back. So we're gonna dive into what's causing the pain, how to relieve it, and restore mobility to those tight areas. Let's get down on the floor. Obviously, all you need is your lacrosse ball. Let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do is find the muscle that's causing the problem for our hip rotation. It is called TFL, which is short for tensor fascia lata. So it's a very small muscle in the hip that helps internally rotate that hip, which is the movement we need to be able to post up onto your lead side in the downswing. To find that muscle, just lay on your back. It's really important that we pinpoint this muscle. From here, you're going to find that bone at the front of your pelvis. You want to have your fingers just beneath that and maybe off to the side. Then we're going to lift your foot off the floor, and all I want you to do is try and roll your thigh into the midline so your foot and your shin move outwards. While you do that, you should feel right under where your fingers are. You may have to move it around a little bit. You want to find that muscle that really kind of contracts, and you should feel that muscle kind of pop out into your finger or your thumb. Once you've found the middle of that muscle and you've located it, pinpoint located it, you're going to place that magic pain eraser ball right on that spot where your TFL is. Then we're just going to extend the leg. Now, all we're going to do is just keep that ball in place, and I'm just going to roll my body weight right on top of it. Keep it in place, and then I can rest my head here. When that ball's there, I'm just going to start to push my weight on top of it, and now you might have to use this foot to move your body around, but I can definitely feel that ball pressing into my TFL, and it doesn't feel good. So we're hitting a trigger point here. When we're doing this, we're pressing on a spot where the soft tissue is really, really knotted and ropey. It's essentially like a knot in the muscle, in the fibers. So we're pressing into that, okay? And we're on that trigger point. We're going to hold it until you feel like that trigger point eases off a little bit, okay? In terms of intensity, what you should be feeling, this should be anywhere from a 4 to 7 on the intensity scale or discomfort scale. 10 out of 10, you're holding your breath, your face is turning red, you're sweating. That's too much pressure. You can ease off and you can bring your body back this way a little bit, but we're trying to get, again, this initially is going to be a fair amount of pressure, so we want to ease into it, but once you've found that spot, deep breath in, deep breath out. We're just going to sustain compression here, okay? And again, if it eases off, you can move the ball to just wiggle to a slightly different spot and explore that area again by moving your pelvis, rocking it side to side or up and down by using your foot. You can access all the areas in that TFL that are really tight and ropey. So Breathing steadily is going to help. It's just sustaining compression. Once that muscle relaxes a little bit and you can feel like, okay, I can relax my leg, we're going to actually contract and relax this. So I'm going to get you to take the edge of your foot, that pinky toe side of your foot and your shin, and just press it into the floor a little bit. And you should feel the muscles in that hip contract a little bit. Deep breath in. I'm going to hold pressure down into the floor with my foot, and then I'm just going to release the leg and let it kind of melt into the floor. And I feel my body kind of settle on top of that TFL, and there's a little bit more of that discomfort again. I'm just going to try and relax the leg and then contract again. I'm going to push that leg down into the floor. You see my pelvis lift up a little bit. I'm going to hold for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale, relax, and settle on top of the ball. Again, it's going to probably press in a little bit more. Nice deep breaths. And this is starting to release. I'm feeling that it's a little less sensitive than when we first started. Still doesn't feel great, okay? It never feels great, but it just, the more you do this over time, it starts to feel a little less intense. Last one, contract, push down, and relax. Let your body settle on top of the ball. So that is our TFL muscle. Again, that is a hip internal rotator. Internal rotation is what you need for your body to be able to post up on that lead leg in the downswing. We can't rotate here. You're going to end up side bending and extending and twisting that lower back, which is where a lot of lower back tightness and stiffness and eventually injury is going to come from. The next spot we're going to hit is called your infraspinatus muscle. It is one of the rotator cuff muscles on the back of your shoulder blade. So to locate that muscle, we're just going to first find the top of the shoulder blade. You can reach over and feel that kind of, it's like a bony ridge that runs across the top of the shoulder blade. The lacrosse ball should be just beneath that ridge behind your armpit. So we can reach behind the armpit with the ball, place it there, and then you're just going to slowly lean back and position the ball on that spot. I'm kind of holding it in place with my fingers, and then I'm leaning on top of it, okay? And from here, you can see I'm really just leaning out. I'm rolling over onto it. I'm letting that arm rest on the floor. I can support my head with my opposite hand, so I'm not having to use my neck muscles as much to hold my head up. And then I'm just going to have my elbow out to the side a little bit here. From this position, my elbow's bent 90 degrees, and just me holding it here, I can definitely feel this is uncomfortable. I don't need to move anywhere because I'm right on the spot. If you don't feel too much discomfort, you might have to wiggle side to side, up and down a little bit. Once you're on that sore spot, just grin and bear it, but breathe, okay? Inhale and exhale. If this is too much pressure and you're wincing and tightening your body too much and you can't relax at all, you can lean against a wall with the ball. So just hold the ball there, lean against the wall, and then kind of walk your feet away from the wall so you're leaning against the ball, which is supported on the wall. That is another way to, it's kind of a modification so you can have a little bit less pressure. But I like this option because I can get as much pressure as I need, and I don't have to lean against the wall as much. The floor is supporting my body weight. From here, I'm just going to start to allow this arm to rotate externally and shoulder to rotate this way. So I'm working that wrist back down towards the floor, and then I'm coming back up, and then I'm rotating back down towards the floor, back up, exhale, rotate down, inhale up, exhale down, just like that. So we're going nice and slow. And again, you might have to position your body so we're on a slightly different spot, rotate, just like that, moving through that. And we feel as we breathe that that initial intensity starts to ease off in that shoulder blade in the infraspinatus. So that we're going to do that for about a minute on each spot. And you can do it on both sides, of course. I'm just doing the lead, hip, trail, shoulder. Those are the ones that are most important for golf. But obviously you want to do both sides. But that lead shoulder work is going to allow you to, one, rotate this shoulder better, which is going to help you probably come less over the top, but it's also going to help you access range of motion in your shoulders so you don't have to overuse your elbows and your wrists. So number one injury in golf is lower back pain. Again, that's often caused by a lack of rotation in the hip. And number two is elbow pain, wrist pain, which are often caused by lack of mobility in the shoulders. So those two pain spots are really, really common. And those are our top two fixes for those pain areas. So if you haven't done our free home mobility assessment, it'll be in the link in the description here. Make sure you do that home mobility assessment. You're probably not going to pass the hip or the shoulder test. Those are our two most commonly failed tests in terms of mobility, which is why we're highlighting these two areas. So you can do that home mobility test, see how you stack up, and also give us a subscribe on this channel. Like the content, that really helps us out. Hope you guys found this video helpful. And if you don't have one of these, go get yourself a magic pain eraser ball. Your body will thank you for it. I'll see you guys soon.